Hey guys, it's me. I'm so sorry that I'm so late with this. I've been bedridden for basically the past 4 days, but because I have the flu, so I still kind of sound like a man. But I did record the actual story before I got sick, so it should sound halfway decent. So this one's called Impertinence, and I think it's really cute. So yeah, enjoy. I don't know about Thompson. Lazard flipped to that file and, adjusting his glasses, again scanned the sheaf of stats and mission reports. Grades as a cadet, high average. Mako tolerance, good. What's the problem? His mission rankings, Angeal said. Every one of them contains the word satisfactory. And? He can do better than that. We should not reward anything less than full commitment. Commander Hitchcock, one of the highest-ranked members of Soldier, frowned at Angeal from across the conference table. Is that fair? Thompson has been a third class for 2 years and performed well. Maybe a promotion is just what he needs as encouragement to try harder. Or it will give him the impression that he need not try harder. I don't need a second who's satisfied and isn't motivated to pursue his goals. Hitchcock smiled knowingly. Yes, but as a second he'll have you to lecture him about the importance of dreams and pride. They're not all starry-eyed romantics like you, Angeal. Angeal glared, but there was little power in it. Yes, he knew it. It was one reason why he didn't relate well to the lower classes, with one well-known exception. They all seemed eager to fight, to gain power and prestige, and a good number seemed mainly interested in gawking at Sephiroth. Sometimes Angeal felt he had been born too late in this modern world, where honor was a little more than a pretentious word to most people. Ever the diplomat, Executive Director Lazard offered a solution. We could give Thompson one of the open slots on the Junon mission and reevaluate based on how he does. Sounds good to me. Very well. Just as Angeal was about to stand, Hitchcock turned and spoke to him. You sure you don't want to talk about fair? Angeal sighed. Top of his class as a cadet, Lazard said, not needing to look at the file, knowing these things as all of Soldier did. Reaction to Mako good, mission rankings glowing, already fighting on a second-class level. Zack is 17, Angeal reminded them. Elevation to second is practically unheard of at 17. And you're worried... But he's proven himself, Hitchcock said in his deep, reasonable voice. You said it yourself. We should reward determination as well as talent. And Zack certainly possesses both. He's around the upper classes more than the thirds anyway. And you're asking me to separate him from his peers completely. You're worried about jealousy? Zack's too well-liked for that. I know. Then what is it? Angeal sighed again. He was not used to this, not used to considering so much in a soldier. It was his job to keep his subordinates alive and well-trained, capable of performing their duties. They didn't talk to him about feelings. None of them had wormed their way into his heart, despite his distant fondness and pride for them. Zack was a singular phenomenon, a whole person he was constantly tempted to be over-careful with. It was vexing, not least because his love for the boy was so obvious. However exceptional Zack is, his association with me makes promotion too early a bad idea, Angeal said haltingly. I don't want anyone thinking he's being favored. It's potentially problematic enough that you and the other firsts treat him like a pet. You're the one who gave him the nickname. I didn't intend for it to become so widely known. Delaying promotion to second means delaying promotion to first, Hitchcock complained. And you know how eager we are to get him. If he brings finger paints into my office one more time, you can have him. You're not fooling anyone, Angeal. But because I respect you so much, I won't tell you what I think the real problem is here. Just say it. Hitchcock smirked. I think someone's afraid of an empty nest syndrome. Or empty doghouse syndrome, I guess, in this case. Angeal rolled his eyes and stood, gathering his files together. That concludes the meeting. Thank you, Director, Commander. His birthday is only a couple months away, Hitchcock called as he headed out for the door. This isn't over. Director, what do you think? Lazard offered his usual benevolent smile. I think fair skill is more than enough for a second class, but I know you have other things you must consider. Angeal nodded. His concentration has been improving, but he's still too reckless. It worries me. And it shouldn't, he added quietly. Of course it should. Not like this. Fair shouldn't mean more to you than any third class, you mean? Lazard laughed softly. Maybe not logically, but logic has no place in these matters. No man is an island. Not you, not even Sephiroth. The name of his closest friend gave the name to the faint uneasiness that had been building in Angeal for months, ever since the incident in the VR training room. Though the general had assured Angeal that Fair's crush didn't bother him, he had been somewhat off ever since, preoccupied. More than that, Zack had hardly spoken of the embarrassing event, or of Sephiroth, which in itself told Angeal that the boy was not quite over it, and nowhere near over Sephiroth. And to top it all off, Zack had been unusually well-behaved lately. It wasn't like Zack to have a feeling and do nothing about it. He simply felt things too strongly. Angeal was nervous about the sudden lack of mischief and what it might mean, almost enough to consider supplying the finger paint himself, or letting Zack play in the Turk's armory. Anything but wait. "Oh, Commander?" Hitchcock's amused voice drifted in from the hallway. "I have something of yours." Angeal was pretty sure he could guess, but he still made a noise of surprise when he took one step out of the conference room and was rushed by a shorter body. Hands clutched his uniform, and a head of spiky black hair buried itself in his sweater with a wail of "Hide me!" Normally, Angeal, always conscious of his dignity, would gently pry Zack off and remind him about the no hugging in public rule. But the boy seemed genuinely distraught, and that brought up a very different set of instincts. Without thinking, he put his arms around Zack and patted his hair a few times, ignoring Hitchcock's irritating smile. "All right, puppy," Angeal said calmly. "Calm down and tell me what's wrong. Promise you won't kill me." "I promise." "I think I did something stupid." "Please tell me you haven't been spiking Heidegger's coffee again." "No," Zack said, his voice muffled. "You haven't been hanging around Reno, have you?" "Uh-uh." "Then what?" Angeal's phone beeped, indicating a text message. He opened it and read the small screen with a frown. "Does this have anything to do with Sephiroth wanting to see me immediately?" Zack groaned pitifully and only clung tighter. Angeal carefully shrugged him off and took him by the shoulders. The boy looked up at him, biting his lip nervously and at least having the decency to look apologetic. Damn it. If anyone were to use sense materia on Angeal, he was pretty sure his weakness would have to be revealed as the adorable pouts and pale blue puppy eyes. "I wasn't really thinking till afterwards," Zack mumbled. "We've talked about that." "I know, I'm really sorry. Are you gonna let him kill me?" "Of course not." Angeal sighed. "I'll take care of this. You and I will discuss this later. Go back to your apartment. I'll be over as soon as I can, and you had better be there." "I promise." Relieved, regaining some of his usual bounciness, Zack grabbed Angeal in a cheerful hug. "You're the best." "I'm out of my mind," Angeal grumbled, looking up to glare at Hitchcock, who was shaking with repressed laughter. "Don't you have duties to attend to?" "Right, of course. First, I should call my wife, or I'll be in the doghouse." Hitchcock winked and strolled away. It's amazing that anyone at all still finds me intimidating. Though Angeal moved towards the door silently, Sephiroth opened it before he could knock. The general was sometimes almost precognitive, his senses were so enhanced. Though it was equally possible that he had been standing there this whole time, doorknob in hand. Literally in hand. Well, better than in pieces be ripped off by a door than the limbs off of Zack. Far more pressing was the green bubbling in the normally silver eyes. It wasn't like Sephiroth to get worked up over practically anything. Certainly not a childish prank, which Angeal assumed was what had happened. He couldn't imagine anything Zack had done with good intent that would prompt this much anger, and Zack could no more intend to do harm than he could from keep bouncing or sitting still for a solid 5 minutes. Angeal moved to enter the apartment, and Sephiroth stepped back to let him. "Hey, Seph, I got your message," he said, subtly glancing around the main room in a sweep to look for bodies. "Everything all right?" And that was the end of part 1, and I'll post part 2 as soon as possible.